everyone. Welcome to the Preemie Chats. Preemie Chat is our weekly educational sessions for healthcare professionals and parents to talk about what matters to you, to explore new ideas, and to learn together. I'm Fabiana Bacchini. I'm a Preemie parent and Executive Director of the Canadian Premature Babies Foundation, as known as CPBF, and I'm happy to be your host today. CPBF is a parent-led organization that helps families in and out of the NICU through education, support, and advocacy. If you have a heart for preemies, whether you are a family or a healthcare professional, please check our website at canadianpreemies.org. There you'll find resources, the latest projects, and most importantly, a community of people who wants to see our little babies thrive. If you're watching live, please bring your voice to this table. Leave comments and questions in the chat, and we'll try to address them during our program. It is through rich conversations like this that we can advance practice and learn together. So please participate and let us know where you're watching from. And today's topic, we're going to talk about the work of the Family-Centered Care Taskforce, which is a partnership between family partners and clinicians to optimize the delivery of family-centered care in the NICU. And we have two guests today. The first one I'm going to introduce here is Morgan Kowalski, joining us live from New York State. Morgan is a former NICU parent, a mother of Thomas, an ex-25-weeker, and the program manager of the Family-Centered Care Taskforce. She has served in the Family Connection program in her local NICU since 2020, where she helped implement a small baby unit alongside a multidisciplinary team of providers. She's a Vermont-Oxford Network family partner and serves on the Family Partnership Network of the American Academy of Pediatrics. Morgan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Fabiana.
Thank you. And our second guest today is Dr. Malathi Balasundaram, who is a clinical associate professor at Stanford University and a staff neonatologist at Camino Health. She is the Camino Health NICU Family-Centered Care Committee chair and actively leads a number of subcommittees to improve the NICU quality goals. Her guiding vision is for all NICUs to provide safe and quality neonatal care in an environment that supports the integration of families as equal partners in the care team. She formed the Family-Centered Care Taskforce by recruiting passionate trainees, neonatologists, staff, and family partners in February 2022. Dr. Balasundaram, thank you so much for joining us live from California today. We are very excited to have both of you sharing this very important work.
Thank you, Fabiana, for inviting us. I'm super excited to be here.
And so we're going to have a chat at the end of this live session today. So please bring your questions, your comments, share your experience with us that they will address after their presentation. So Morgan, the floor is yours.
Thank you again, Fabiana. We're so happy to be here today. My name is Morgan Kowalski, and my son Thomas was born on June 10th, 2018 at 25 and 1, weighing 1 pound 11 ounces and measuring 12.5 inches long. It is an honor to speak with you today about the work he's inspired me to do with the Family-Centered Care Taskforce and how this incredible organization is changing neonatal care to benefit infant health and parental mental health outcomes internationally. Tommy was inpatient in our local NICU at Golisano Children's Hospital at the University of Rochester Medical Center in New York State for 115 days and had a long, difficult course. He still struggles with chronic lung disease, kidney injuries, sleep apnea, slow weight gain, partial hearing loss, and various developmental delays. Health complications aside, he's the most outgoing, hilarious 6-year-old, and to know him is to love him. I created @MicroPreemie on Instagram during Tommy's first week of life as a way to follow related accounts and repost quotes that gave me hope. It's got a little over 2,000 followers now, and it's an unexpected blessing in the way that it's allowed me to connect with other NICU families. I serve as a quality improvement family partner at Golisano Children's Hospital NICU and was able to play as Fabiana mentioned, an integral role in the implementation of their small baby unit and in securing a paid NICU-specific family partner position. I'm a family partner with the Vermont Oxford Network, and I'm a member of the Family Partnership Network with the American Academy of Pediatrics. I had the honor of joining the Family-Centered Care Taskforce as a family partner on their executive council in 2022 and have worked as its program manager since June of 2023. It has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, and I know Tommy will feel proud of the work this remarkable organization is doing once he's old enough. Now I'll hand it over to our fearless founder and co-chair, Malathi Balasundaram, MD.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for all you do. And Tommy will definitely feel proud of you, what you do for him and others through this organization. And thank you. You are a backbone of this organization, no doubt about that. And thank you to all brave NICU parents out there. And I admire all of your work and that you do around NICU parent advocacy. I'm not a NICU parent, but I'm honored to know and work with many amazing NICU parents in my career as a neonatologist. Thank you, Fabiana, for inviting us to share our work. This work is near and dear to my heart, and I'm excited to join you and your team. I want to share my background briefly. So I was born and raised in a small town in the southern part of India, known as Kanchipuram. It's also known as a city of thousand temples. My journey has been one of overcoming challenges and seizing opportunities. I was the first girl in my family to attend college, which was medical school with a scholarship. I immigrated to US with my husband, went to residency in New Jersey as an international medical graduate, and did my fellowship in San Diego, and became a Stanford faculty and Camino Health neonatologist. I was given an opportunity to be an FCC chair and collaborated with former NICU families and learned a lot during my role as a FCC chair for past 7 years. El Camino is a 21-bed level 3 NICU. Next slide, Morgan. I'm an FCC chair in this level 3 community NICU. As I mentioned, it's a 21-bed level 3 NICU in California, US. We adopted this comprehensive family-centered care program model, which supports NICU families throughout their NICU journey, from antepartum to discharge from the NICU and beyond. Since 2016, we have focused on and successfully implemented these 6 components of family support. My scholarly work focuses on quality improvement, so I have incorporated both quality improvement and FCC in my career. So we have created a few subcommittees to work on implementing 6 core components of FCC that I mentioned in my previous slide, which are listed here. The numbers in the parentheses reflect the members of the subcommittees. On the right is the picture of the staff holding their favorite book as part of the first anniversary of our reading program. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a QI person, want to measure and show improvement, so we started tracking the developmental care activities, including reading time, skin to skin, and showing continuous improvement throughout my career, 7 years as the FCC chair. This slide shows the rest of the subcommittees and the number of members. On the right is the improvement work of our discharge education. We started focusing on improving our discharge education. We incorporated discharge education through electronic health record, and parents review the education at their own pace on the MyChart bedside. It reduces the nurse's time and provides consistent information, and parents can start this process early during their NICU admission. Next slide. So we published our QI work in a local NICU. On the left is the improvement graph of discharge education satisfaction survey response. On the right is a multidisciplinary team improvement work on early mom's milk use in preterm infants. Next slide. After implementing this comprehensive program in my local NICU, I had an opportunity, again, there is an opportunity to join the American Academy of Pediatrics, TCAN, which is called a Trainees and Early Career Neonatologist summer QI program in 2021. I asked the others in the group about their unit FCC performance, whether they have a committee that oversees the FCC activities at the national level. This pie diagram shows that close to 65%, as you can see, 50% said they don't have any FCC committee, and 15% said they are unsure if they have or not. So I included them together. So 65% of them said out of 48 respondents did not have an FCC committee that initiated us to start this Family-Centered Care Task Force. Next slide. I did a quick PubMed search before starting this Family-Centered Care Task Force, and we have close to 15,000 FCC-related articles, which has been increasing for the past 2 decades. Although the FCC shows improved outcomes for babies and families, it does not reach the bedside. I agree that implementing FCC practices is challenging. If we implement the FCC program in my local NICU, there could be an opportunity to replicate the work in other units. Even if one unit benefits by learning the work and collaborating with others, that will be wonderful. That's what made me start this Family-Centered Care Task Force. So the Family-Centered Care Task Force is the first international multi-center collaborative initiative solely focused on family-centered care. We exist to support NICUs as they seek to begin or strengthen family-centered care in their units. As Fabiana mentioned, our key strength is an equal partnership between clinicians and family partners in everything we do. Morgan will elaborate more about our executive council and committees in a few minutes. I don't need to inform this group about what is FCC. I want to emphasize it ensures that caregivers are active, engaged team members throughout their NICU journey and is a key factor in improving health and family health outcomes. Next slide. We celebrated our second anniversary this February. After the national survey result, I reached out to my mentors and recruited passionate clinicians and 13 diverse family partners, emailed 50 members, that's the founding members of our task force in February of 2022. In May 2022, we wanted to build a learning community. So we created bi-monthly educational webinars and invited researchers and family partners to speak. We had our 15th webinar yesterday with more than 170 participants with live discussions. We also formed 5 small groups connected with units with existing FCC programs. The picture shows our first webinar flyer. Mary Coughlin talked about trauma-informed care, and 6 family partners shared why we need to provide a family-centered care. So after forming a small group, we collaborated and created a QI goals. As I mentioned, I'm a QI person, so I wanted to implement a QI into whatever opportunity I get. So we implemented a quality improvement work last year. We recruited 22 global NICU to be part of this small QA collaborative and created 2 aims. We surveyed the centers 3 times, met monthly to provide guidance on overcoming challenges. In 1 year, we have shown improvement in the presence of family-centered care committees, which is shown on the left side of this slide, and also show the improvement of a family partnership council from 18% to 45% of family partnership council, and from 18% to 59% implementation of family-centered care committee. So we were able to achieve this in 1 year time period among 22 global centers. Next slide. So this year, we are working on benchmarking FCC NICU measures. There is no way one center can compare with the others in terms of where they stand in delivering FCC in the NICU. So we started brainstorming with our executive council. We collaborated with the executive council family partners and created a comprehensive REDCap survey. That includes 7 categories, which are listed here. I'm honest with you, it's not a simple 5-question survey. The number of questions is listed in the parenthesis. It's a comprehensive survey. So why should your unit participate in this survey? So you can your center will receive an immediate score upon completion. Once the study is completed, your unit performance will be benchmarked within participating NICUs. All data will be identified and kept anonymous. There is an opportunity to collaborate with other centers on topic-specific QI work after completion of the study. If you are interested, email us your clinical or QI leader information so we can share the survey link and PDF so your team can work on completing the survey. This study was supported by a grant from KSE USA, Independent Educational Grant. Next slide. We are thrilled to announce our next project, which is optimizing the delivery of family-centered care in the NICU. It is a mixed method study, so we will recruit 30 diverse centers from the FCC task force and ask them to participate in the REDCap quantitative survey and analyze their data, and then invite them for a qualitative interview. So to hear their challenges and provide potential solutions. This work is a collaboration with the NICU Parent Network. And with that, I will hand it over to Morgan to share our Executive Council structure.
Thank you, Malathi. Our esteemed national and international organizational partners help us spread the word about our free webinars and resources, and we are grateful for their support. If you or your organization is interested in supporting the FCC task force, please reach out. Partnerships require no financial commitment and are mutually beneficial, with the primary goal of disseminating best practices around family-centered care. Our core team is the driving force of the FCC task force and exemplifies its key strength of equal partnership between healthcare and family partners. Co-chairs Malathi Balasundaram and Colby Day are practicing neonatologists, and myself and co-chair Kira Sorrells are former NICU parents. Many of you know Kira as founder and executive director of NICU Parent Network, which is the premier professional organization of NICU parent leaders who collectively represent the needs and best interests of NICU families. I would also like to add that Malathi was recently promoted from clinical associate professor to clinical professor and was awarded the Stanford Pediatrics Advocacy Award for her work both in her local NICU at Camino Health and with the task force. Her passion for FCC inspires everyone around her, and I'm personally grateful for her leadership. Our work wouldn't be possible without our diverse executive council of family partners, many of whom lead their own organizations, work as NICU parent leaders in quality improvement collaboratives, and serve as family partners in their local NICUs. We've got a familiar face in the top left corner. Fabiana Bikini supports our work as executive director of the Canadian Premature Babies Foundation and as our gracious host today. Lauren Ingledow, an adult preemie, recently joined our executive council and is bringing a much needed perspective to FCC. She is co-founding director of the Adult Preemie Advocacy Network, and we're thrilled to have her invaluable and underrepresented voice at the table. Our Executive Council of Healthcare Partners represents multidisciplinary providers with neonatologists, researchers, neonatal nurse practitioners, nurse leaders, and therapists in this role. Two of our healthcare partners, Jessica Daigle, MD, and Nicole Nyberg, neonatal nurse practitioner, who is founder and CEO of Empowering NICU Parents, are also former NICU parents. The FCC task force is supported by its subcommittees, co-chaired by one healthcare partner and one family partner, respectively. Daphna and Alex of our Marketing and Communications Committee manage our Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. You'll have a chance to follow us on the next slide. Myself and Vargabi publish a quarterly newsletter, which includes actionable takeaways for implementing FCC, a trauma-informed care corner, recommendations, and other free resources. Advocacy Committee co-chairs Carrie and Nicole keep our task force working toward big picture initiatives like zero separation and unlimited access to parents and family caregivers, and smaller but equally as important projects such as supporting paid family leave in the state of Pennsylvania. Please take a moment to follow our social media accounts. Links to these accounts live on our website at fcctaskforce.org and can be accessed there if your cell phone camera isn't immediately available at the moment. We share information about our free educational webinars, office hour sessions, and other free resources, as well as disseminate information and current events taking place in the neonatal FCC community. Our quarterly newsletters get better and better with each publication, and our regular contributors include Jessie Barnes, a leader in clinical nurse education and former NICU parent, Mary Coughlin, a pioneer in trauma-informed care practices, and Mia Malcolm, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging facilitator and a former NICU parent. Our advocacy committee submitted a resolution to the American Academy of Pediatrics Leadership Conference titled Parents and Family Caregivers Are Not Visitors, supported by the section on neonatal and perinatal medicine. Scan the QR code to read supportive comments for this resolution, which we are working tirelessly to pass in our efforts towards zero separation in the NICU. Those comments also live on our website. When I first began my role as program manager in June of 2023, our membership was comprised of just 474 individuals from 14 countries and 36 US states. That felt like a really big number at the time. Today, we have almost 1,300 members from 48 of 50 US states and across 41 countries. We also have members in 6 of the 10 Canadian provinces. As the person who updates and measures our membership regularly, it's incredible to watch this organization grow each week, and I can't wait to see what the next year brings for us. Please join our membership and take advantage of our free educational webinars. We are excited for our next event taking place Thursday, September 12th, featuring Susan Huang, a neonatologist and researcher with clinical interests in statewide quality improvement collaboratives, disparities in mental and infant health outcomes, and transitions home for high-risk infants. Beth Simonton, co-founder and CEO of ICU Baby and a former NICU parent, will also be presenting on the incredible work her organization is doing to support NICU families with mentorship, resources, foster care kits, and the ICU Baby app, among other programming. We also encourage you to check out our previous webinars, with our most recent event taking place yesterday, featuring Paige Church, MD, director of the NICU Grads program at Boston Children's Hospital and assistant professor at Harvard Medical School, with her talk, Families as Neuroprotectors in the NICU, and Mia Malcolm, whose accolades I mentioned during the quarterly newsletter slide, with Delivering Hope Through Words, the Power of Effective Communication in the NICU. Each of our webinars is recorded and posted to YouTube and our website with accompanying slides and resources. We provide a database under the resources tab of our website of all previous webinar recordings and have the slides linked for each. You won't regret watching and sharing these with your colleagues, and it's worth mentioning that we have found that units who attend and view our webinars have more success implementing FCC practices. Your call to action. Where do you go from here? Join us. Our membership is free, and we promise not to flood your email inbox. Attend or watch recordings of our free educational webinars on varied and relevant topics related to FCC. Come to office hours with your barriers to implementation and let your fellow task force members help you brainstorm solutions for overcoming them. Read and share our free quarterly newsletter for the latest FCC recommendations. Send us your burning questions to include in our monthly poll and get answers from task force membership. Participate in our NICU FCC Measures survey coming out this fall and become an FCC ambassador in your unit. You don't need extensive programming or any programming in place to get started. Thank you for listening and for your commitment to improving infant health and parental mental health outcomes through FCC. I'll open it up for questions.
Wow, thank you so much for, first of all, to doing this incredible work. And it's amazing to see how much you accomplished in such a short period of time. It's very, very impressive. And to see the world map and how many countries have joined the task force is really amazing. So congratulations and thank you for doing this very, very important work. I have a lot of questions to ask you. I really want to unpack a little bit more of the task force itself. For units who wants to join the task force, do they start with quality improvement projects that are already being done in other units to see where they are at in their unit? So what is that first process?
So thank you for that question, Fabiana. So they don't have to start in anywhere. They can join any, if they are in any level. So if they don't have any family partners or if they don't know where to start, they can start. And if they already have a program, but they are behind in certain areas, let's say if they are behind in discharge, education, and support, so then they can join too. So they can join. The next step of our after completing the survey is we are going to have a small group based on their topic needs. If some centers, they want to work on improving maternal mental health, or if they want to improve the discharge educations, then we can group them together so they can work on as a small quality improvement work as a collaborative. And so they don't have to do, anybody can join. That's why it says if you have a well-established FCC, join us. You could be a mentor. You could be a mentor for the other centers. Or if you are beginners, just join and learn from the others. So, Morgan, do you want to add anything to that?
I echo what you said, Malathi. I think that the great thing about our organization is that you can be a bystander and just taking in the education and the resources through the webinars and the email listserv. Or if you feel ready and your NICU is interested, you can join us in some of these, quality collaboratives that we'll be having after the completion of our survey project. But you can attend office hours, you can attend webinars, you can watch webinar recordings, you can just follow along with the emails. There's really no formula for how you have to participate. We just want you to show up.
Right, and really no excuse not to participate because you make it so easy for people to just join at any capacity they are at or the time they have. So Malathi, you did say something in your presentation that I always feel so inside my core. There's so much evidence out there. Why this is not reaching the bedside? And you mentioned that there's evidence, 15,000 papers, I think you mentioned. So why you are not there yet? Like it feels the right thing to do. We know it's the right thing to do for parents and for the babies on the short and long-term outcomes. Why you are not there?
Yeah, that's exactly the same question I've been asking for a long time. So when we started this small group quality work last year, we asked the centers, the 22 centers they joined. Actually, there was 36 centers joined in the beginning. And but they were not able to commit to it until the end of the year. So they are like slowly not able to continue their commitment. So finally, we had like only 22 centers. So we asked them why you can't implement the family-centered care. So we actually working on publication of that work, and so we found out there is we created a Pareto chart because I'm a quality person. So we created the Pareto chart and then looked into the reason why they are not able to, what are the challenges. The top concern was culture change. So the staff, they're busy. They don't want to educate this. They don't want to change their mindset to shift their mindset to be a mentor. So I can do this in 5 minutes. Why do you have to be educating the families to make it like a 20 minutes task? So culture change, that's what the top barriers that we found. The second barrier is the leadership buy-in. So we can do this and we are ready to do this, but our leadership is not helping us or giving us a time to work on it. So that's the second task then. That's the reason when we look into this task force, we said, okay, how do we get this culture change aspect to tackle that? So that's why we have this educational webinars. So it's a free and you can hear from directly the family partner stories. And yesterday our webinar was amazing, and we had 170 participants, and Mia shared her story how we are calling this difficult parents in the NICU, and she gave this definition of difficult parents, and it's contradicting. Like if you're staying more long hours, you're difficult parents. If you don't come, you're difficult parent. So it's just the way, if hearing those stories, then we can change the culture. That's the reason we created this educational webinars. Okay, we can tackle this, one of the barriers. And plus, they don't have the resources. Many NICUs in the level 2 and level 3 NICUs, I don't know where to start. I don't have the resources to hire the family partners. What are the job description? How do I get this? That's why we have the resources section. So if you have a well established job description for your family partners, then we can post it there. The other centers can take that. So we are making this process a little bit easier on their end, but still we need a FCC ambassador and advocate in their local NICU, otherwise it's not going to work. So we are trying to tackle those challenges, and so make it as a practical points, practical implication tips.
So, yeah, we always talk about the culture of the NICU and coming from the leadership. We know during COVID, so many, especially bedside nurses, retired. They left the units. They went to work in different places. At least we saw this happen in Canada. A lot of new nurses coming to a new center, newly grads who work maybe 2-3 years in the city, and then they go back to their hometowns to work in their local NICUs. And it just always new staff coming to the unit and training, and older people leaving, the champions leaving. So is this a problem also in US, and something that the task force is trying to tackle, like this turnaround of NICU staff?
Yes, it is happening everywhere. You're not alone, Fabiana. So I think you guys are pioneer in the family-centered care. You are well advanced and progressive compared to US. And so it's happening in our NICU too. So actually in my NICU, that once I implemented the family-centered care program, several nurses actually retired, the seasoned nurses, and we have a new nurses and travelers during COVID. And it was hard for us to keep up the family-centered care work. So the one thing that we did is actually as a FCC chair, we created this family-centered care checklist. So whenever anybody comes to the NICU as a staff nurse or resident or medical student or anybody, when they enter the NICU, they have to go through that orientation checklist. So in the beginning, I came in and then I oriented them, or we have a leadership team with the nurses, they oriented the staff. So they have to get the checklist completed before they start the shift. So that helped us to, okay, so they don't know what we do here because you got oriented. We do these things as a part of the family-centered care. So that really helped us to educate the staff a little bit. And then we can't come every time. So I created a little bit of video of the 30 minutes talk or 20 minutes talk, including the parent story. So then we can share that information with the new staff, orientee or travelers. So that really helped them to get a buy-in for the family-centered care activities. It is tough. It is difficult. It's challenging. And I completely agree. But we have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. And it should, I always feel, obviously I don't work in the NICU. I'm a parent coming to different lands and different eyes. But I feel should be expectation. This is just how we do it. It's not that, okay, maybe we do it, but no, this is how we do this in this unit. Parents are involved in the care of their babies. But I travel a lot with Family Integrated Care Steering Committee, and many places they look, of course, you guys can do it. In Canada, we have resources, and I went to different countries. I went to Colombia, and they say, okay, it's impossible to implement this here. And I remember Dr. Shuli, who, is, I always say, the grandfather of family integrated care in Canada, saying that's exactly why you should implement, because it is a lower income setting. There's less nurses per ratio per baby. So parents should be trained and educated to really support the work of the NICU staff. It is a mindset change. And I feel this is the hardest thing to do around the world, right? Because people set their ways, why the parents are here. But my question to you is, with all this situation that happened with COVID, where parents face severe restrictions in ICU, did that take us back to decades ago when parents were not there? And how are we going to bring this philosophy back that parents are important? I mean, the task force is there, your checklist, all this education, but are people really implementing, or they, okay, let's try this now as a quality improvement project. Once the quality improvement project is over, we go back to how we're doing things. So what is your feeling about this?
Yeah. So that's why our advocacy committee is focusing on that, and so the parent are part of the integral team. So they are essential care members, caregivers. So they are not visitors. That needs to be legislation and legalized, and we have to make that happen. So one thing we thought we can take it to the American Academy of Pediatrics with the leadership forum as a resolution. But the resolution got stopped because we wanted to use the um, we don't want it to stop this, to limit to this to the NICU. So we opened it up to the pediatric population. That actually backfired us, because the pediatric population, the adolescent, you need to give them some privacy. So you cannot put that as a parent, as a caregivers, and they're essential part of the team, because the adolescent, certain diagnosis and certain treatment, they need to create a privacy setting. So that's backfired us. So now we are thinking about just using the NICU environment. It's not going to be the entire pediatric environment. It's going to be a NICU. So then we are working on publication, like we have to reach, and Dr. Lily Liu is a advocacy co-chair of the American section on neonatal perinatal medicine. She is part of our executive council. So we are working on tackling that aspect of it. What if there is one more, God forbid, there's no pandemic like COVID, but if it happened, then we don't want it to restrict the parents'
Absolutely.
access to the NICU. And your publication, the present study, is a beautiful example of like providing this conditional reasoning and conditional recommendation, and good, strong recommendation. So we have to use that material to educate the local NICU leaders to get the buy-in to include the families.
Absolutely. So, Morgan, I have a question for you about this advocacy piece that Malathi was talking about in terms of parental leave in US. Like, is this a big piece of the advocacy that has to come hand in hand with the Family-Centered Care Taskforce? Because we want parents to be in the NICUs, but at the same time, they have to be at work. So are the parents getting organized in US, which could lead to other countries in the same situation to advocate for parental leave? Because we know, I mean, in Canada, we are very fortunate that we were able to change legislation many years ago. Australia is on its way. France has changed. So there's work happening, but so many countries still very behind. So what is your take on that?
I think it's unbelievably crucial to provide paid family leave for birthing and non-birthing parents in the US and around the globe. Fortunately, we do have states in the United States that offer paid family leave, but not everyone's on the same page, and that's what needs to be changed. It's not fair that parents have to choose between spending time with their critically ill infant in the NICU, or saving that time, so to speak, and working while their infant is in the NICU, and then spending that time with their infant at home during a maternity leave, so to speak. So, I think that's a huge issue, political issue in our country, and I think it's very important to a lot of Americans to have paid family leave.
Absolutely. It's still a lot of work in progress around the world on that front, for sure. My other question is about, we talk so much about EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion. How is this getting put into consideration with the task force?
So when we are creating, that's a good question. That's why we have a diverse executive council member. So we have a birthing and non-birthing and different ethnicity and race. So we wanted to include a different perspective in our whatever we are working on. So our benchmarking survey, we are asking certain areas like, do you have the interpreter service, and do you include the social determinants of health or social influencer of health? So we have a few questions in the benchmarking survey, so that will help the centers to see where they are. And at the end of the survey, they actually look at, compare with the other centers, and then benchmark themselves, like where they stand. So that's the area that we have, like, I would say 10, 15 questions in that, with the equity-based questions. So looking at your center's performance, and then see where you can go next. So it's there. That's part of it. And so overall, at the task force level, when we are recruiting, or when we are reaching out for the executive council, we want to be really intentionally looking for diverse family partners and clinician. So that's our goal. So the family partners, including in every aspect of it, it's a equity. We are breaking down this hierarchy. So if there is a hierarchy always exists in this healthcare system. I'm a physician, you're a nurse, and you're a therapist, or you are a parent. So all our webinars also, we are break down that hierarchy. We call them using their first name, and so anybody can speak up, and in a polite way, of course. And so it's just the way that we wanted to implement, every aspect of the task force work.
That's wonderful. Morgan, let's talk a little bit about the parent partners in the NICU, because I know there's a big piece of what you are doing as a task force to make sure the hospitals have those parent partners, which is a concept that is still not widespread around the world. Can you talk a little bit about the role of the parent partners in the NICUs? And if the NICUs don't have any funding to hire those parents, what are the options?
Sure, absolutely. I think that acquiring family partners starts with recruitment. So if your unit is already having an annual reunion, if they're having fundraising events, or they're having babies come back to follow-up appointments, that's the time to capture those interested parents who are willing and able to volunteer if there's no funding for financial compensation. But a lot of hospitals also use a self-identifying tool on their websites, like hey, if you're interested in giving back as a former NICU parent, please reach out. And I think that the nice thing about the family partner role is that it's such a huge, there's so much opportunity. And I think it really depends on what your NICU's unique needs are. So for example, if you have a NICU that's in a very metropolitan area, maybe that family partner is utilized to help set up a screening for social determinants of health program, and call, the resources that are given out, as community resources, to verify that they're actually helping the patient population. Or maybe those parent partners are able to serve as peer-to-peer support mentors, and host, a dinner once a month or once a week for families who are currently inpatient. Or maybe they are more heavily involved in the quality improvement and processes and procedures sector, and working more closely with neonatologists, and not so much at the bedside with inpatient families. So I think that depending on what families are interested in, and depending on what the needs of the NICU are, there's so much opportunity for everybody to find a place and find a way to be, useful and helpful. I think it's really important to compensate family partners for their time, even if it's not through hourly or salaried pay. I think it's important to cover the cost of parking. Maybe the hospital has a child care facility on site. Maybe, that family partner is able to utilize that. Maybe there's an opportunity for a free meal. But these parents are, generally still caring for a medically complex child. And they want to make meaning, and they want to give back. And so I think that we need to honor the fact that they're taking time away from their families and re-experiencing their trauma in order to help improve care for future families. And I think a big part of showing that appreciation and providing validity in that title of family partner, family experts, is financial compensation. And there's a lot of ways that can be accomplished in the United States. It can be accomplished through grants. It can be accomplished through, having the position built into the financial structure of the hospital. We've even seen some hospitals in the United States take an RN position and use the money that was intended to have a nurse on staff toward a family partner, paid family partner, or even, two part-time family partner positions. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity to overcome some of those barriers.
Absolutely, be creative, because we know, if there is a will, there is a way, and people can find the funding if they really see the value on the role. I do hope this role will expand in NICUs across the world. I know US is really leading that. Canada is. We are trying to follow your steps. We have many parent partners coming to units now, but we still certainly have a lot of work to do. I just want to wrap up. If you have any last thoughts, any last message to our audience before we finish the session today.
So I can start, and so join us. So it's just to join our task force. And if you are experienced and have a well-established family-centered care committee, share your wisdom, share how you did it, and so other centers can learn from you. And if you don't know where to start and how to start, join us too, so we can help. And so we just got an email from the center 2 days ago, and then she asked how to talk to the risk management to get a buy-in for the volunteer family partner. So we guided her and asked, go have a meeting and talk to them and hear their concern. So she did that, and then they were said, or she showed the publication and evidence, they approved. So you just needed to start somewhere, start something small, and be an advocate and a passionate person to provide a family-centered care, so you can be successful in implementing.
Wonderful. Morgan, any last thoughts from you?
I echo everything Malathi said. I think we want you, if you're on the end of the FCC spectrum where you're doing everything right and you've kind of overcome those barriers and everything's in place and you're providing that kind of high level of family-centered care. And we also want you, if you're just starting out or you don't know where to start and you need insight, we want everybody on that spectrum of family-centered care. And we have no limit to who is allowed to join, whether that's family partners, former NICU parents who are interested in becoming family partners, neonatal nurses, therapists. I mean, we want everybody to come and learn and collaborate and network and learn from each other. And I think that my son's care and my family's course was changed by one physician who practiced with a spirit of FCC, regardless of not having any programming in place in our level 4 NICU. And I believe that he helped empower me to the role I'm in now as a NICU parent leader. And so you don't have to have everything going in the right direction to get started. You just have to start.
So, oh my God, I love what you said. It's so true. You just get started. Because for me, I have a similar experience than you. I was part of the Family Integrated Care Research Study. And I really feel like I became a product of the Family Integrated Care. That's why I do the work that I do, because I became so passionate about integrating families in the care of their babies, because it was really life-changing for me, as it was for you. And I think that was really pushed us to do the work that you do. And we hope many more families can feel empowered, maybe to do this work, but maybe to be a parent to that baby that's going to need some care, extra care for a long time, as we know, and for some of us for the rest of their life. So It's so important that parents are involved in the care and we participate so we can really become a better advocate for our children. So I will thank you both for being here with us today, for joining our Preemie Chats, and for sharing your expertise, your experience, the amazing work you're doing. I'm so happy that it worked for us, and I can't wait to bring you back to give us more updates on how the task force is progressing.
Thank you so much, Fabiana.
Thank you, Fabiana, for inviting us.
Thank you. And to all of you watching us live today, thank you so much for joining this Preemie Chat today. And a special thank you to our sponsor, AstraZeneca, who make education sessions like this one possible. And just a reminder, if you missed part of today's session, head over to our website, which is the Canadian preemies.org, to see this episode and all past editions of the Preemie Chats. We'll find many resources and support options available there, and we'll also be reminded that CPBF is a charitable organization and depends on support to continue its important work. Consider how you can support CPBF and its mission to empower families of premature babies in every step of their journey. Together, we can create a brighter future for all preemies and their families. And we'll see you again next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay well.